There's one neighborhood in Rafah called Tel Sultan. We switched out a different team that was in that neighborhood. Now, before we got there, we knew that there was 6 hostages that were found about a week before we got in there. And we knew that Yahya Sinwar's DNA was all around them. So we knew we had to be in the area. But the guys we switched out said, guys, don't worry. The area you're in is all cleared out. Just watch around and not look on the inside. It's like a couple of blocks. Look on the outside of those few blocks. Yeah, it's like a... He said it's a safe zone. We didn't feel that safe in there. We still had... We caught a couple of guys. We had some close calls, but nothing too crazy. Then... It's very interesting what happened to me that day. So it was Erev Sukkot, right? That morning, I was with the guys, was doing our thing. Everything looked very calm. And my wife came from America to Israel for Sukkot because I was there already from Rosh Hashanah. I was already in Gaza. And I said, I'm gonna, my wife is here. Let me go out for 24 hours. I'll be with her the first day of Chag. So she has a nice Chag. As I leave, something small was going on. I heard in the radio something small, but I was like, it's probably nothing. I'll just go to my wife for a day and then I'll come back. What happened was that there's something that will come out in the news, I believe, in a couple of years from now. I don't think we're going to talk about it.
Let's skip before that. Let's get ahead of that. By the way, Chaim, this is the news.
Worst thing to tell Nachi.
We're doing a live.
Huh?
Let's go.
It wasn't coincidental, as people like to say. There was there's some things we did.
Like?
We'll get to it one day. But then there's a guy...
Fantastic boundary setting.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Huh?
Fantastic boundary setting.
Yeah. So there's a guy one of the guys in Commander's course. He sees... they were in a building. They went out of the building because there was a grenade that didn't explode in that building, which they didn't know where it's from. They went out of that building to clear that grenade, and one of the guys, a sharpshooter, is like, hey, I see someone moving. So
this goes out on the radio.
It goes out on the radio. Everyone jumps up. We start looking. Not we. I wasn't there. But
you were like half a remote.
Huh?
You were like.
I went to visit my wife.
Yeah.
So everyone starts looking for what's going on. After about 2 hours, they see nothing. Now, at the same time, what they did was they got up the drones. We have drones which I actually got donated. Like one of the drones I got donated from a community in Teaneck that gave me the drone to, for our guys because we needed drones. The drones were flying around, and the head guy of the unit, like the Magad, says in the radio, hey guys, cancel. The guy probably just dreamed, nothing's going on. But there is 2 guys who are Gashashim Yehudim. Basically what it means is there's 2 Jewish boys who they're trained and very well trained to go after footsteps. So they know how to read footsteps, new footsteps, old footsteps, and see how to track guys on that. And they're telling someone, hey, we see something. We have to, even though he said to cancel, we're pursuing something over here. Give us a couple more minutes to figure it out. And they're still looking after those footsteps. And then in the same time on the radio, the drone says, hey, I see 3 guys running. And then those guys who were going after footsteps see 3 guys running. They started shooting at them. And the drone is seeing people. So everyone gets, back, start looking what's going on. They start a pursuit after the people. It's a bunch of buildings there in the area, so they didn't know exactly where they were. There's a guy who got shot in his stomach on the spot from one of the terrorists that was shooting at them. And then they start looking for the people. Now they spread into a few buildings. They're in building A, let's say. There's guys who go into building B in order to fire on building A. As they want to go up the stairs to building B to be able to fire at building A, they see a blood trail in the house going up the stairs, and someone is throwing grenades at them from the 2nd floor. So they back out, and that's when the drone footage, and some guys have seen the drone footage. I'm seeing Sinwar in a chair.
That's the one that came from Teaneck? Is that the drone that came from Teaneck?
No, that drone is the drone that goes in the house, but the drone that was in the air on top. That's a drone like who
That's
came from
insane.
Teaneck.
Wow. Yeah.
And then so they have this fight with this guy. It was a 2-hour fight because he was like running from room to room, shooting at them. It was a very, very long fight. And then once they knew that he was killed, they didn't go to look who it is. They continued on looking for the other guys and fighting with other guys. Now, it took us very long and very hard to find them. Only the day later, they like at middle of the night, they shot another terrorist. And by the morning, they went to look at him. They said, hey, they look what he has for some reason. And they see there's a UNRWA passport, which is like a UN passport. And some things looked suspicious. So they send a picture to the Shabak from this guy. And the Shabak is like, hey guys, just so you know, this guy is supposed to be with Sinwar.
Wow.
So maybe you guys killed Sinwar too, and he might be in the area. So they went back to look at the guy they shot a day before, and that's when they realized they killed Sinwar.
Wow.
I was still with my wife at the time. It was very sad. And no one tells me anything. So I'm like on, Sukkot in Yerushalayim, and I get phone calls that my team killed Sinwar, and I have no idea what's going on. So later I went back, to join the fight with them. It took 3 more days to kill everyone from that team. It was 4 guys on that team. It took us very long to find them. We found about, I think, 15 AK-47s, a couple sniper rifles, and a bunch of explosives. Now, this is, I would say, maybe 150 feet from where I'm sitting every day. So Sinwar and his team for sure saw us days before.
Wow.
And they had all the ammunition. They were in our safe zone right next to us. And we didn't see them. So I think that was a very, very close call that we had. And we're mamish lucky that they didn't start a fight with us. And that's how it was over. And then, remember, I came there, I looked, I got in Sinwar's chair, took a picture, which is very cool to feel, I'm like,
you sent us that
your
picture?
dad. I'll send you that
I'll
picture.
put it up over here.
And then, and then probably half a day later, we exploded the whole area, just everything. We wanted to make sure there's no memorabilia from him. And we just, took everything out.
Do you guys know what he was doing in such a public place?
There's some things that we'll have to talk about in a while.
It's good follow-up fodder.
Yeah.
It's good follow-up.
Why wasn't he on the ground?
That's exactly what we can't talk about.
I'm getting somewhere.
That is something we'll talk about eventually. But there was a lot of missions at the time going on there that we knew we were doing an effort to find
random.
hostages.
It wasn't random.
Yeah, it wasn't. That fight was a random fight. If I would have known, I wouldn't have went to see my wife. I would have said, "Hey, wait a day." But
she probably loves hearing that.
Yeah, it wasn't completely random. Like, we knew he might be in the area. We knew there's certain stuff we did in order to find the hostages more than we cared for him. We wanted to find the hostages. So that was that call.